Hey there guys, it's Rick here and welcome to a pretty special Q&A. I'm in the middle of moving house actually. I'm going to be moving in a few days. It's dragged on for a long time, but I'm just glad that it's all going to be sorted in the next couple of days, and I'm going to move into the new place and sort out a new studio and everything else, so I'll be able to upload with the same kind of regularity as I did prior to the last month or so. So that's my current scenario, but I thought I'd quickly, while I had a bit of an opportunity, do a Q&A. I know I haven't done one in a while, but I just thought I'd slam it up on my Facebook fan page and go through as many questions as I can. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to try and answer as many as possible. Okay, I may skip some because there are a lot of them. I didn't expect there to be that many. But yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So let's get to it. Mikey asks, how did you memorize scales in the beginning? Do you have any tips to make it easier? For me, basically, I just boiled it down to 3 shapes. First shape being notes which are a tone apart with each finger. Then the next shape being first and second fingers together, then the little finger. Then the third being first, third and fourth together. So once you get that in your head, it's really, really easy to memorize. And just do it over and over and over again. There's your answer. That's one way of doing it anyway. Okay, next, Greg asks, has Elliott Hulse inspired your recent outlooks on life and music? Absolutely. Love this guy, really love this guy. Actually, great guitar player, Leonardo Guzman, sort of sent me something, I think it was last year, and I checked his stuff out then, and I've been aware of him for a few years, but never actually watched his videos, and not the lifting videos, the philosophy and you know, his thoughts and everything else, and I love that. I really am into philosophy, big style, so I've done a lot of reading since I came across his philosophy stuff, and I love it, absolutely love it. So expect more of that from me. Okay, so Jaron asks, do you plan to reveal the details of your transformation too? Absolutely. I was going to do this last year, but you know, one thing leads to another. Because you're changing all the time, I kind of didn't want to set it in stone, you know what I mean? And I'm learning all the time as well. So, but this year I'm on a cut at the moment, and it's going quite well. This year I plan on releasing all my information about how I lost the weight and diet plans and my workout, so that anybody who's interested in what I'm doing, not what anybody else is doing, what I'm doing, can download it and find out all the information from that. So I promise you that's going to be available during the summer, perhaps August time, something like that. So I'll keep you updated. Okay, next, Mikey asks, is this the same guy? Yes it is, but I'm going to answer this. I've been watching your classical stuff lately and find it awesome. We will see more classical stuff soon, and also will you be doing any workshops around the country in the near future? Yes, I will be doing a lot more classical stuff. I'm really into it big time at the moment. Listening to guys like Graham Devine, I've been listening to his Bach recordings, and just, goddamn, that guy can play. And also another guy called Matt Palmer, he's blown me away completely. I bought his album recently, and that guy is phenomenal. So I'm going to be doing a lot more classical stuff. I'm going to be focusing on Bach stuff, but also some modern stuff as well. So and workshops, I don't know, depends whether I get asked. You know, if I get asked to do it, then yeah, perhaps. But that's what it's down to. So if the opportunities come my way, perhaps, yes. Okay, so moving on. John asks, and this is a question that a lot of guys are asking me and have been asking me for a while. Why are you selling your Ibanez guitars? Okay, I'm going to answer that. In fact, I'll answer that tomorrow. Okay, so moving on. What is your approach to composing? This is Caleb. Do you use theoretical knowledge or just hear something in your head? It's kind of a combination of both for me. I do write quite a lot actually, and I've got a lot of material that I've been writing for a while. But I just generally go with my ear, but I also do use my knowledge of harmony and everything else to kind of link things together. So I do try things out and experiment with things based on theoretical knowledge as well. So it's a combination of the two, but the ear is king for me. How did you develop, Adj asks, how did you develop your vibrato? Did it take a conscious effort with practice, or did it just come naturally over time? My brother told me that my vibrato was shit. So I listened to him and he was absolutely right. It was bloody awful, no control. So from that moment I listened to everybody's vibrato and I kind of pinpointed the sound that I heard in my head and that I wanted. So I worked on vibrato. Well, it was kind of, you know, when I say I worked on it, I didn't spend a massive amount of time on it, but I really did, you know, something that I worked, one thing that I worked on was applying vibrato when bending a string. That was a real challenge to me, so I worked on that quite hard. So yeah, it's something that I've always been really, it's always been something that's been very, very important to me, so yeah, I have worked on it. Ali asks, were you ever caught in a rut with your playing? If so, what did you do to get out of it? If not, is there anything particular you would recommend? Yeah. I mean, this is the nature of guitar players and anything that you do in terms of progress. When you're working towards a goal, whether it's, you know, playing the guitar or working out, fat loss, you know, when you're looking to progress, one thing you've got to understand is the majority of the time that the progress is not linear. It's not a line that just goes up. You know, it goes up, plateaus for a bit, perhaps goes down a bit, then up and down, then up and down. Bit like life, you know. That's once you get that in your head that that's the way it goes, it's a lot easier to deal with ruts because it's just normal. That's the way it is. So progress is just not linear. It's not in that direction, you know. So it's important to understand that. Bjorn, how do you deal with being uncreative sometimes? Do you take a longer break or listen to something completely different? I take long breaks from playing the guitar. In fact, I haven't played the guitar. I've done a few lessons here and there and just picked up a guitar to do the lessons, but I haven't played guitar since I was away filming at Lick Library almost 2 weeks ago. So I haven't played. I think I did a video, the one I did on my Facebook page, Spanking Dem Strings. I just literally picked up the guitar and just played for you know, a minute or so and just recorded that. So that's the only thing that I've done, and I really like it. I like those breaks because a lot of things happen when I have intense practice and, you know, I have long breaks. Those breaks are very, very important. So these days I have long breaks, perhaps too long, who knows. Daniel asks, why have you been selling... Yeah, I've already answered that. Also, active pickups, you gotta be kidding me. I find it ironic that you said in one of your videos that you swapped out the DiMarzios in your J Custom because they don't clean up well because of their output, yet you tolerate the unbearable amount of output in the EMGs and blackouts your new ESP guitars have. I'm playing EMG 57s and 66s at the moment. I really like the way that they respond. I love them. They are active pickups indeed. But I really like the sound of them, so I'm going to use them. So there's your answer. I like the sound of them a lot. Moving on. What are the, Sayak asks, what are the key elements behind your tones? Literally, again, it's a bit of a cliche answer here, but it's true. I just use my ear. I use the Axe FX a lot because it's so convenient. I can take it wherever I want. I've got all my tones in a box. You know, it's there. It's great. So useful, and the tones are great as well. I just use my ear. Basically, I listen to an amp. I don't care about the name of the amp or the name of the pedal or the name of anything. I don't care about it. I'll just put it on and let my ear guide me through it. Okay, so that's what I do. And those are the tones that I usually end up with. I just let my ear take over and go, yeah, I like that, no, I don't like that. You know, sometimes You know, I change my sound over a period of time because of, you know, my ears change, and you know, you grow as a player, or you don't grow as a player, you know, whichever way you're going. So ultimately I use my ears, so same way as composing music and just playing in general. Marky asks, can you do country? No, not at all. You know, I could play a few country licks, but you know, this is the thing, is that a particular style is, it's not just a matter of playing a few twangy country licks, you know, it's a matter of immersing yourself in that style and where that style comes from and understanding its history and everything else. I think that's important. You know, I think you've got to understand these things. I think you've got to immerse yourself in that specific aspect of a style. You know, it's not just a matter of just banging out a few twangy telly type licks and saying I can do country. I don't think that's the right approach at all. You know, it's every particular style has you know, a depth to it that takes a long time to really truly understand, you know. So no, I am not a country player. You know, I really admire guys who play country. Some of them are phenomenal. Pete asks, an update of what's happening with you and projects will be ace. Yeah, I will give you an update once I've moved and I've got my new studio set up and everything. I'll be back in business. James asks, have you ever felt giving up sometimes if you encounter some riffs and scales that you couldn't do but others can? I would never look at it like that, as though somebody else can play something and I can't. No, I just wouldn't see it like that. I concentrate on what I do, and you know, my development is about my development, not what somebody else can do. You know, I don't gauge my playing on the fact that somebody else can play there. Sometimes you can, but you know, I wouldn't get wrapped up with that kind of way of thinking at all. Concentrate on what you're doing. You know, try and be the best that you can be for yourself. So, Craig asks, what question is it that pisses you off the most that assholes won't let go of? I'll answer that tomorrow. Arnie asks, what are your religious views, if you have any? I don't have any whatsoever. None. So there's my answer there. Nick asks, does your workout routine affect your work ethic on the guitar? As in, does it make you want to push yourself further because you know you're capable of more? Absolutely. It works for me. It really does work for me. It's a mental, you know, I'm able to fine-tune my mental focus through training, and that, I think that seeps into everything else that I do in life. So for me, that's been really crucial with my development as a musician and as a human being, as a person, you know. It's just an essential part of what I do now, totally and utterly. It's not about, you know, getting bigger, you know, and building muscle. Yeah, it is. It's good to see progress. Everybody wants to see progress, you know. If you do work on a house, if you build a house, you know, you at some point you're going to want to stand back and go, oh, how does that look, you know? And it's no different when you're doing any kind of physical work, you know. But the more time goes on, the more I realise that I'm not actually that bothered about that. Well, I'm lying there. I am. I want to look good. There's no question. I want to look good. But it's mainly because I love training, you know. And that does affect my playing, I think, and music and everything else in such a positive way. It's brilliant. Okay, moving on. Aidan asks, how is your life going at the moment? Non-linear. Kevin asks, how is your TAS now? That is technique acquisition syndrome. And I know what he's referring to there. He's talking about the video that I did, technique. How important is it? I'll always have that. I always want my technique to be the best that it can be. But like I said in that video, well, watch the video, you know, watch the video if you want to know about my thoughts on technique, you know. The way I think about technique now is completely different to the way I thought about technique before, you know, in a nutshell. That's what I was getting at. Moving on. Okay, Django asks, do you still think it's a good idea to buy a real amp in the age of the Axe FX? Also, even though my last name on Facebook is fake, my first name actually is Django. Do you think I should use a stage name? It's impossible to live up to the real Django, and I always feel like such an ass when I introduce myself. That's great, even if that is complete bullshit, I like that. Real amp Axe FX, who cares? You know, if you're happy with it, that's all that matters. You know, listen to the tone. If you like it, great. If you don't, buy something else. Ben asks, has there ever been a time when you were truly sick of guitar? Obviously it's your passion, but intensely studying it and practicing so much must take some of the enjoyment and fun away. Yeah, there are times where I get sick of it. Well, sick isn't the right word. Sometimes I just need a break, a long break. And these days now I take long breaks from playing. I've had lots of long breaks recently, and I intend to get back to doing some intense practice. So, but yeah, I like to take, you know, a week off at a time where I don't touch the guitar. I really like that, and it's important for me and where I'm at now. So I need long breaks. Mirko asks, my question is, what other kinds of music, non-guitar orientated, do you listen to usually? Some of you guys who've been watching my stuff will know that I love trance. I absolutely love it, and to be honest with you, that's what I listen to most of all. I really, really enjoy it. So yeah, there's other stuff as well, but that is the main thing that I listen to these days. Okay, so Saeed Troung, I probably haven't got that right. Are you a Buddhist? No, I'm not a Buddhist, but there are certain elements of Buddhism that I really, really relate to a lot. But I don't like pigeonholing how I think, so no, I'm not a Buddhist. Robert asks, when you are buying a new guitar, is there anything particular the guitar always has to have? Whammy bar, particular neck size, etc.? No, not at all. No, I'll pretty much play most guitars and eventually get relatively comfortable with most guitars. But no, I'm not. I've never been that fussy about, you know, having things right for me. So. Dan asks, will you show us more cool thump-pick licks? Yes, definitely. Eric asks, go on, off you go, go on. Eric asks, will you ever be in a band? I'm happy with the way things are at the moment, but you know, if somebody comes along, or a situation comes along where there's an opportunity for me to join a band that is something that I could creatively be involved in, you know, and give a lot of my musical input to, then yeah, I'd love to. But at the moment, the way things are going, I'm happy with it, you know, and I have a specific direction that I want to move, and I have goals that I want to achieve regarding that. So a band doesn't necessarily figure in that at the moment, but who knows what's in the future. Michael asks, how do you allow your palm muted legato to be so audible? I love that dynamic about your playing. Thank you in advance. I don't know, I think it's got a lot to do with the tone that I use. You know, I've tried various different tones, and that particular technique doesn't come across as well, so the tone has to be right. You know, well, it certainly does for my technique. So that's one of the big aspects with that, that the tone has to be right. Yeah, I think there's your answer. There we have the Q&A session. I'm sorry I couldn't answer all of the questions. You know, there were so many of them, and I appreciate everybody who's put a question there. It doesn't matter how daft or how involved it is. I really, really appreciate you doing that. So thanks a lot for posting your questions. There'll be more opportunities to ask questions soon. I will post again on my Facebook page once I'm set up, once I've moved, once I've got this madness out the way. I will start the Q&A sessions up again, so you can, if I didn't answer it this time, you can ask it again. So yeah, there we have it. That's been the Q&A. And remember that important question that the majority of you want to know. I will answer that tomorrow, honestly. So, thanks for watching. I'll catch up with you guys next time. Take care.